justice and peace and equality.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast. We're back. Jayden Williams, candidate for Mayor of Stockbridge, Georgia. All right. You're running here in the 2026 campaign. All right, 2025.
Yeah.
2025. My bad. I don't know why. Okay. 2025 campaign. Stockbridge. We talked about the budget. We talked about the things, the ViStar Amphitheater, the police department, the economy, the budget. What is Jayden bringing to the table that's going to take the people to the next level?
I'm bringing the people back to the seats.
Okay.
I have a lineage of leaders in my family, and I am related to Commissioner Vivian Thomas.
Yes.
And so she asked those questions that need to be asked.
Yes.
She's trained myself, my mom, her sisters, all of us to talk and ask those same questions in any type of situation that we have.
Yes.
So for me, I'm bringing the people back.
Okay.
Because it's a lot of times where, again, like I said earlier, we have the leaders, but we don't have the people connected to the leaders to ask those necessary questions, to make decisions based on the community.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, just like I say in my campaign, you are my neighbor, I'm your neighbor. It's not a back and forth, I'm your mayor and you my constituent. No, we're neighbors.
Right.
We're doing this for the same reason, and that's to better the area we live in.
Right. Now, a lot of people say, well, he's just getting out of college. He's just getting out of college. How can you run a city if you haven't ran a home or whatever? However, all those stereotypes. All those stereotypes. Because I know young people, they get these challenges. And before I say that, we have to learn how to pass the torch.
Absolutely.
In our community. I'm very adamant about that, passing the torch. But what inspires a young person like yourself to say, regardless of what they say, I'm gonna get up and go?
It's the momentum.
Okay.
It's the fact that I get to serve my community. It's the fact that I can serve my citizens every single day.
Okay.
I think for me, one of the things that I pushed, even when I was the state president for NAACP, is I didn't want one generation leading everything. I was in every room whether I had a voice to say what I wanted or not.
Okay.
Because it's not about the position for me, it's about the impact that I make without the position or the title.
Okay.
This country was built after the war by young people. They weren't even over 35, most of them.
Most of our leaders were young.
Exactly.
Okay.
So when we're talking about, he's too young or he hasn't rented a house, yes, but you can't say I don't have the experience.
Right.
I've served this community for over 7 years as the youth mayor, so I've already touched the young people. I've worked in every single department as an intern every single summer during my collegiate year, because I said I can't fully say I'm going to run for office without saying I know the inner works of how a local government should work. So I've literally seen how Stockbridge functions all through.
Okay.
And now I'm serving as the chair of the planning commission, and that was a unanimous decision that, if you watched the meeting, that even shocked me, because I wasn't expecting my commissioners to nominate me. I was expecting us to nominate the chair for re-election, and he said my name. I said, oh, shoot.
Wow.
But that just shows that they're ready for leadership and they're ready for change. And the reason I'm running, and the reason why I'm not worried about people saying about my age or I'm just leaving college, is the simple fact that until we are ready, if we're ready to move forward in local government, if we're ready to put the people back, we have to understand that each diocese, each community should have a multi-generation community or a set of leaders.
And I definitely believe that, and I believe a community should be a reflection of what it actually is.
Exactly.
If we want to say we want to build places, I don't want to hear all these gimmicky themes. I don't want to hear all this over the board stuff that what you think I want to hear. I want to make sure that we have equal representation. Matter of fact, I'm one that's not for all black councils. I'm not for all white councils. I'm for councils that reflect people in the community. I've learned my lesson, and I can say this on the air. If Rush Limbaugh could say it, I could say it. You know what I mean? So, but I've learned that in my cry, I'm all for my people, but I also want balance and just for my people. I want balance. I want people to not feel intimidated if I say, hey, brother, I voted you in, But hey, man, straighten and narrow your walk here, man. Over here, you may not to say we're never gonna vote for you again if you don't do this, but hey, man, look at it from this perspective.
The only way you can be better, and I learned this at Clark Atlanta, is if you don't take critiques as people bashing you, but you take critiques as people trying to help you get better.
Come on now. What's your plan for what's your plan for infrastructure at Stockbridge? Because the one thing about it, if we're gonna have an amphitheater, we're gonna have fight for soccer. We're building Jodico. You know, what is downtown like that 138? That north, I think it's 138 where the Popeyes is, all the way to the amphitheater. I mean,
that is 138. To be honest with you, it's not much we can do.
Okay.
Because it's already established unless they sell it back to us.
Okay. Okay.
But what I can say is Stockbridge is at a point to where we can no longer, or we're now limited to building out. We have to build up.
Okay.
So we can't just come in and say, I'm going to build this flat one house or this flat commercial place. We have to build up because we want to get every buck for what we're building, but we also want to make sure it accommodates the community at which we currently serve.
Correct.
And so, fortunately, the only area where we can actually build that has land and kind of have those narrow areas for is District 5, where the Sprouts is.
Okay.
Where, the Chick-fil-A is, like the country club going all the way back just about to Jodico.
Right, okay.
And so that's the place we can really build out flat. But anywhere else, like District 2, which is our historic district, or District 1, those are residential.
Right.
We don't want to just throw anything in there. Now, District 4 is more a little bit of residential, but has majority of our commercial to include the home of our city hall.
Okay.
And so we got to make sure we kind of accommodate the specific areas. But I know for a fact when I come in, I really want to make sure that we outline each district.
Okay.
Because yes, we voted, we got our districts, yay, we have a representative for each district. But what are we doing specifically for those districts? How are we categorizing? How are we titling them? And just like I just said, District 2, that's where I live. I deem it the historic district, but it's never been named the historic district of Stockbridge.
Right.
But when you have the legacy of Daddy King, Floyd Chapel, Memorial Park, Green Front Cafe, you don't have a choice but to call it the historic district.
The historic district, and it's a lot of value to that historic district. And shout out to the council. I believe the council emphasized that about 2 years ago, where they recognize the historic district. I think they actually do it every year. They have like a Carrie Marie.
That's the community. That's not the council.
Oh wow.
That is our councilman. Councilman Alfonso Thomas does sponsor that with them.
Okay.
But that is not a community or city-based event. That is the community recognizing their history and culture.
Oh wow. And does the city partner with no type of back end?
Not that I'm aware of.
Wow. I do like how Councilman Alexander is, pushing business and telling people about business in the area. I believe communities need that. I believe communities need to know, okay, what's going on, what's happening, from an unbiased perspective. But at least we know, a lot of us find out that the Sprouts and the Costco's and all of that is coming with District 5. I think that's thriving. Now, those other parts of Stockbridge where they need work, what is your plan? What is your plan to improve quality of life in those areas?
Honestly, so when I first get in, I have my first 100 days already set up.
Okay.
You probably won't think I will be a rural, a suburban mayor the way I'm going to be moving because while we have a weak mayor system in Stockbridge, while the position says I'm a weak mayor, I won't act as a weak mayor. I'm going to take that extra mile to do what I need to do. Because I can't serve the people unless I hear from them. Right. So right now in my campaign, I'm launching a listening tour that's going to start in July and it's going to end in September. Oh, wow. But I'm also doing, when I win, I'm going to speak it. I'm also going to do a tour in those 100 days to hear back from the community. And no shade to the current mayor, meet with the mayors once a month. It's good, but everybody's not going to come to you. Sometimes you have to go to them. You got to go to them. Now, what does it mean, with Stockbridge being a more like a veteran city, veteran-oriented city? Like you said, it was Henry County is a retirement place. How should those, to pull those older votes to say, we want young, new leadership? How does that look for them? With you in office, are
Are they now like, okay, I got your vote. We don't need you anymore. We're bringing a spray of young people in here that's going to tell you what to do. Yeah. We're going to turn into children of the corn. And I mean, what can those people expect so that their value can stay in place?
I can tell them for a fact the value will stay the same regardless.
Okay.
And I know the current incumbent is a veteran.
Okay.
But I come from a veteran family. My mom is a U.S. Air Force veteran for over 20 plus years now. Okay. And still serving. She hadn't retired yet. I keep asking why not, but she wants to keep serving. So one thing you see in my family, we love to serve. So,
correct.
That's just something I can't even fight her on. So of course I grew up understanding the values and principles of military.
Okay.
Even when I used to get in trouble in school, my mom wouldn't. She probably would be every now and then.
Yeah.
But growing up,
yeah.
My discipline was she taking me to the base. Yeah. She gonna give me to the commander, and I'm finna see what they do during basic training.
Absolutely.
Because she wanted to instill that standard and principle that you just don't have the luxury to go out and act the way you act. And I'm out here working all day.
Man, I know what you mean.
So so the military veterans, we support them, we love them.
Okay.
But I have that not experience in the military, but I understand where they come from because I see it every day.
Okay. Now Stockbridge has built its theme on Stockbridge where community connects. Do you feel like community is connected? I mean, Frozen Smoke is doing it. It's on a business side, Frozen Smoke is doing their thing. I believe Smoking Q's, the business right next door, they're doing their thing. They changed their name. They're kind of growing again. But do you truly feel we're living up to our standard of community connecting?
No, absolutely not. And I'm going to explain why. Okay. It's not that the businesses aren't connected with the community.
Okay.
They're doing their part.
Okay.
But how can the city, not individuals that represent the city,
right,
but how can the city emphasize that connection between the city and those businesses?
Okay.
Yes, we give you your license. Yes.
Okay.
We support you doing what's it called? Small business.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm trying to
say? Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Small business thing in November.
Yeah.
We support them there, or we showcase them there, but there should be a constant direct point.
Okay.
Outside of us going to the website and saying this is a list of our businesses.
Okay.
Where we're highlighting our small businesses, where we're showing up to our small. We don't have to do everything in Borough Manders or in the city hall.
Right.
Let's have a conversation over at Frozen Smokes and just put a cap on it if it can accommodate 200 or more.
Yeah.
But we have to give them the boost so they can boost back within us.
Correct.
So that's key.
Well, so it was a time. So is it true that Stockbridge is actually funding businesses on Main Street, like for startup money or whatever, like, or helping them to build a beautification fund? But it's kind of weird because.
Now, I haven't heard of that in a long time. It's probably been like 4 or 5 years since I've heard about the startup fund. Now, I don't know.
It's like a beautification fund or something?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't heard it in so long. I don't know if it's still going or not. I know we have beautification funds within districts because council members go and they go do cleanups and all of that.
Okay.
But I don't know about small business startups. That I have not seen or heard of.
Because it seems like a influx of small business. It's like a new small business open up in Stockbridge every day.
It's really just a location.
Okay.
It's the location. I don't really see the perks.
Okay.
But it's a good opportunity to come to the city
at a low price.
At an
basically
affordable price.
At affordable price. Yeah, at affordable. Yes, excuse me. At an affordable price, being connected to Atlanta.
20 minutes from Atlanta.
Okay, I can see what you're saying. Now, what's the value of the location of Stockbridge? Like, what do you think, with you as mayor, what are you trying to draw to Stockbridge, your vision moving forward, your vision to, create Stockbridge as a hub for South Metro Atlanta?
I'm not even looking at South Metro Atlanta.
Wow.
The only competition I see for Stockbridge is Stockbridge.
Wow.
What I vision for the city is truly a community that shows and strives based off our community. Now, I'm not saying I want to exclude us from other communities, but when we start to compete with other communities, that's when we start to forget the focus of our city and start to look at the focus of what they're doing and how we can do it better. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to serve the constituents.
Yes, sir.
And we're here to prove to our city this is the place to be. So I'm going to be boosting. Like I do it now every day. You probably see once or twice a month. Yeah. I'm doing something called Heart of Stockbridge where I'm boosting a small business on my social media.
Okay.
I'm going to small business. I'm going to these churches because Shout out to my Bishop McBride. But
shout out to Pastor Bishop McBride. Yes, sir.
I'm not at church. I'm at some of these other churches
Absolutely.
trying to give them that extra look to see what they're doing and how we can make their church better and push it out. So for me, I'm not looking at I can't tell you a vision that I have solely for Stockbridge, because I know the vision I have is well beyond whether my tenure, whether I win or lose this election.
Yes.
But it's based on the simple fact that community will be back in the hands of the community.
Okay.
City Hall will be back in the hands of the community.
Right.
And we can actually build a community where we're not fighting every other day over what kind of bottle you want to put in the Bi-Star Amphitheater, and we fighting about who's gonna fix the road this time because we got the funds to do it.
Man, come on, man. Now that make all the sense in the world to me. Young next generation leaders of today. Now, with the temperature and with the climate of how do you get other young people involved, like other young people to step up, who don't have that bold and courageousness like you have to step? Because man, I admire you for stepping up, because you got it. Yeah, you got a Jordan River to cross, my brother.
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I think my generation, what we want to see, if the wisdom wasn't poured down for our next generation from the previous generation,
right?
And if I'm just addressing the elephant in the room, some of our previous generation has failed some of our current generation, my generation.
I agree.
But if we don't see it from our previous generation, then we have to see it from our current.
Right.
So it takes people like me. It takes people like Mayor Jayden Smith and Early.
Wow.
It takes the young lady, not even just based on color, the young lady, the white girl, I forgot her name. She's a mayor, so I say the mayor up in North Georgia. I forget what city.
Okay.
But she got in there when she was 18, as soon as she graduated high school. So it takes people like us to make that mark so that the next generation can see, because they didn't get what we got growing up.
That's right.
Or they never probably experienced some of the trials and tribulations that we experienced.
That's right.
So we have to prove to them we can do it, so can you.
That's right. Now, everybody, if you go across the internet, and I talk to a lot of people across Metro Atlanta just to kind of get a feel of what's going on.
Yeah.
And they say, man, here it's kind of full of politics. It's just politics and the only thing they hear is political. How can we make government more approachable and value to, those across the board, instead of it being so...
We got to get rid of some of this formality.
Okay.
Everybody wants to be Atlanta. Everybody wants to be in the backseat of a Ford. Everybody wants security. Everybody wants to be in the front of rooms. Everybody wants to have their own spotlight.
Yeah.
And in reality, you making $30,000 a year.
Correct.
And you yelling at a constituent that make what you make in a month.
Correct.
So, we got to get rid of formality. We got to put the community, and I'm going to say this because I mean it when I say it. Right. Got to put the community back in these positions.
We got to.
It can't be you, your homegirl, your sister, your cousin,
and
your best friend from high school that you pushing to get contracts, that you pushing to get bids. It has to literally be the community. I can assure everybody in Stockbridge, if I'm elected, the first bids coming out on that amphitheater will be the local people from Stockbridge,
correct,
then Henry County,
correct,
and then we'll open it up to the marketing area,
correct.
Because you have to have that branch. I would hate for somebody to say, oh yeah, I have a small podcast in my basement, but I'm based in Stockbridge and I really want to come out and do a recording for y'all. Why would I tell you no for free advertisement?
Man, we offer, just to be transparent, you know what I mean? Because I don't care, because I know they're not going to give us passes anyway. You know what I'm saying? But we offered the city of Stockbridge the chance to come back. You see all these cameras we got in here. You know our history. We've been doing Game Changers Media Network for 10 years, serving this proud community. And ever since this new regime or whatever has gotten in there or whatever, it's like, oh, Game Changers can't be there. Game Changers can't do this, and Game Changers can't come backstage. Well, why did we vote you in? Why did we not just vote you in, or when we voted you in, we trusted you to hire people that support community? And why are people from Macon getting contracts, why? You know what I mean?
I like to say is favor ain't fair.
Yes, sir.
And when people see the favor that's on your life, they think that favor is the only thing that got you there. But God doesn't just look at favor; He looks at His grace and His favor.
Come on now.
So
Come on now.
Stay tuned. We'll be back.
I already
just come back to Stockbridge.
I already know, man. Man, let me tell you, man. We do it, and we do what we supposed to do anyway. And let me tell you, man. Your gift will make room for you. You know, that's one thing that I do understand. It just kind of baffled me that, okay, we have a amphitheater here that we're bringing major talent, that we have a local media network here, you know what I mean? And we're giving them the runaround about being here, you know? Yeah, that's it.
Hey, and maybe it was because you were a registered business. Who knows?
Who knows? Anything you want to share with our audience on Jayden Williams before you actually, you know, I know you're on the run. You were on the phone coming in here, so I know your phone's probably blowing up. Anything you want to leave with the people before we go moving forward and what we got to look for this summer during your campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. I would just say I'm starting a tour this summer in July.
Okay.
So be on the lookout because I'm either knocking at your door or you're going to see me at your church.
Okay.
And if not, your kid going to have something in their head coming home from school, so watch it. But I also want to say I've had the pleasure of serving this community for 7 years. I want to continue to serve our community.
Right.
You can go to my website, jaydenforstockbridge.com.
Right.
You can go to our Instagram and Facebook and our TikTok, Jayden for Stockbridge, to see what I've done in the community so far, to see what I still do in the community, and see what I plan to do for the next generation.
Man, Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversation. Jayden Williams, candidate for Mayor of Stockbridge. You guys stay tuned. We're going to have to bring him back when he's going through his actual race, because I want to know how the climate changed before the race, you know, during the race, what you're seeing on the campaign trail. So we're going to have to bring you back on. Ease up, you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
And equality.